Okay, so GOhioCast podcast 2025, early year, but I got to congratulate the number one team in the country, head Coach Ben Clymer, the Faith Christian Lions coach. I almost said Eagles because fly Eagles fly, right?
It's a party over here right now, man. Eagles got it done. You can
Yeah.
call us the Faith Christian Eagles. We'll settle for that.
So the Lions though, the double A, it's right. There's double and triple A championships in Pennsylvania, correct?
Correct.
You're the double A dual champions this year.
Yep. The small school, insignificant.
Okay, but that's deceptive. You're just the small school. As far as enrollments of the size of schools, you guys are on the small end, right?
Correct.
Bethlehem Catholic won the triple A, correct?
Correct.
How many tournaments or duels have you been in head to heads with Bethlehem Catholic? Ironman, and what else?
I'm trying to think if they went to Beast. I'm pretty positive they were at Beast also.
Okay,
I have to check that back. And then
I
definitely,
believe they're beast.
I think they are too. Because
Yeah.
him and I talked in the summertime. And it was almost like, when do you want to do a duel? We're going to wrestle you at Iron Man. We're going to wrestle you at Beast. We're going to wrestle at ETR was another tournament. And all of a sudden, as the schedules kind of were getting pieced together, it was just like, yeah, we could table this for another time. But yeah, three tournaments with them. They're great coaching staff. We've known Frenzies over there for a really long time and a lot of the guys. So they're good people, man.
You won the Ironman. I believe they had one champion at the Ironman. And we don't even know. I mean, a beast. They had to have been a beast, dude. I got to check the field. A beast. That's kind of crazy. But you guys have gotten the better of Bethlehem Catholic. So you guys, for now, are the king of Pennsylvania, all divisions. It's safe to say if you look at your head to heads with Bethlehem Catholic. Who did they beat in the finals?
Nazareth.
So they beat Nazareth. So how far is Nazareth from Bethlehem Catholic? 10 minutes? 5 minutes?
Yeah, they're maybe it's I should know this better. Maybe it's a little bit more like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 20
Not that
minutes. Yeah.
far because they're
Yeah.
both Lehigh Valley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta go up 33 a little bit.
Okay.
Somebody's listening to this that knows that landscape better than I do. And 15 minutes. Let's go with that. 15
Okay.
minutes.
So
Nazareth to Bethlehem Catholic.
we're talking 10, 15 minutes apart.
Yeah.
Lehigh Valley, you're a Lehigh Valley, or you're a Lehigh Valley guy yourself, right?
Correct.
What high school are you again?
Northwestern Lehigh.
Okay. So there's Northwestern Lehigh, there's Nazareth, there's Northampton, there's Parkland, there's
Yep.
Bethlehem Catholic, there's Easton. Help me out.
Liberty, Whitehall, Northern Lehigh, um, Mays. You said Easton already.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's a lot of the Lehigh Valley schools right there, brother.
I got I did over
Wilson,
half of them.
Penargil, Bangor,
Okay.
you
I
know.
got about half of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
That is unbelievable when you think about it. Um, if you look at the concentration of top 50 schools throughout the top 50 of high school rankings, I'm guessing at one point or another, 8 or 10 of them have been ranked in the top 50 at some point in time. If you were to look
Wow.
at the history of since they've started doing the mega rankings, I mean, it is the capital of high school wrestling, if you ask me. You can say Whitfield, you can say Northeast Ohio, you can say Central Valley, California, but I think Lehigh Valley arguably is top one or two regions of high school wrestling in America. And I know you would agree with me. You're from there, but I'm saying outside looking in, it's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's unreal. And then it doesn't hurt that your ranker is one of your rankers is an Easton guy, and in the honorable Willie Saylor. So he's an Easton guy, but
And the myth.
the man, the myth. But that area is known for it. So you guys are right there. How far are you guys from Bethlehem Catholic in Lehigh Valley?
We probably 20, 25 minutes from Bethlehem Catholic, and Nazareth would be that additional 10 or 15 minutes. So we're like one of the most northern District 1 schools. So um, yeah, we're not far from that line, if you will, of being a District 11 school. Southern Lehigh is right by us. It neighbors us very closely, and they're a District 11 school. So Saucon Valley, a couple other schools I didn't name in that Lehigh Valley list. Yeah, they're right neighboring our school, and that's District 11 already. So yeah, we're close, man.
Your District 1, their District 11.
Yes, sir.
So you don't have to compete out of the immediate district to get past Lehigh Valley guys. You hit them in the regional, then is that correct?
Yep, our region encompasses District 3, which is really tough too, especially in Double A. District 11, and then District 1 and 12.
Okay.
District 1 and 12 not big at all, but between us and Comwell there's some talented guys that'll represent.
So the landscape, when you look at Eastern Pennsylvania, I mean, there's nowhere to hide. Just to qualify in the PIAA state series, whether it's single or whether it's double or triple A, it's really hard to get out of that area. Similar to the Whip Heels,
Yeah,
whether it's double A or triple A, it's just the areas are just so concentrated with really, really, really wrestling rich high school wrestling. It's hard just to make it to the state tournament. A lot of the places I know that those two areas in particular, right? Um,
yeah,
when I look at it, I think it's just the data speaks to it. If you look at the amount of qualifiers at Division One tournament every year, NCAA, you can go down the road too if you want to go D2, D3,
yeah.
NAI. It seems to be like Pennsylvania year in and year out has the most qualifiers, all Americans across the divisions, even into the JUCO and the NAI if you're to look at it. But it's wild for me to think that Pennsylvania is that good at high school wrestling, and then that transmits right into obviously college wrestling. Our only Olympic finalist this year, men's freestyle wrestling, PA guy, so a Whippeal guy in Spencer Lee. So yeah, it's good wrestling over there. I think we've
It's a
put it out there
popular
pretty good,
thing.
right?
It's a popular thing, man. It's been a storied thing for all those years, dating back to the Northamptons and Nazareths and Wilsons. You know, Coach Kroll has a lot to say about that. Coach Powell that was at Easton and you know, it's been a popular sport in the area. So as you grow up here, like that's something your dad wants to get you in, and it's just you know generation after generation. It's a very popular thing, man. You want to be a good wrestler. You want to be known for coming from this area, and it speaks to why it is as talented as it is.
So this year, you guys, congratulations. The Lions of Faith Christian win the PIAA Division Double A state championship in the duels. You knock off Bishop McCourt in the championship coach. That is a matchup that you and I talked about in when we talked about this exact scenario in December when we talked Ironman, which you guys won. Um, we talked about having room for error. And you did catch a little bit of error. You guys lost a duel to Wyoming Seminary, correct?
Yeah.
What was the score of that duel?
Um, Kayla, you remember
Close, coach. Close.
9 points, 8 points,
9.8 points.
SM, 4 points, 7 points.
So we're talking 7-7 split or 8-6.
Uh,
I love it. Are you getting it right now? Are you
no, I'll give you a little info on off camera
okay?
regards to that duel. No, we what was it? 32-24. So it was an 8 point loss. And yeah, we probably it's only 13 weight classes. We probably lost 7-6.
So 7 matches, 6. They got you.
Yeah,
And we had talked about that, and I felt like because you guys dominated at the Ironman, I knew you had like some wiggle room, right? And
yeah.
then we talked about you're gonna have to beat McCourt 2 out of 3, which you've done because you don't hit them in the region, right? You don't hit them in the district or the region, do you?
No.
So, which I don't know if you could weigh that heavily in a national championship. I
Sure.
understand you could, but you're already in the driver's seat. What was that duel like in the championships of PIAA? Was it in Altoona?
It was in Altoona. Yeah. Yeah.
What was
All the way
that
out west.
duel like with them?
Dude, it was awesome. It was yeah, those guys are so talented and then they bring a lot of moxie and a lot of hype. They got a big crowd. They got a lot of coaches, all the parents and we both acknowledged that it was kind of a bummer not to have it at the Hershey Giant Center because that's just like the mecca of Pennsylvania wrestling. Like to be able to compete there is definitely a part of the whole mystique. And but nevertheless, we were in a high school gym at Altoona, and it was neat that like you felt and saw all your parents and those fans that made the trek out there. And so it had a lot of really neat energy and from our guys, I've seen them in a sem duel where I thought we were the better team. We're at home and we just came out a little flat and didn't quite execute, didn't quite believe, right? You see that play out like this guy's good, he's got it, but for some reason he doesn't totally believe it in that moment. And our guys, man, I've never seen them answer the call that well. Because I thought one or two things had to really go our way that weren't supposed to for us to beat a McCourt team that is very talented and for us to beat them by 9 and we forfeited the last match. A match that we were not favored in for sure, but they just executed to an unbelievable level. Their belief, their moxie, they wanted that stage and they commanded it early and often, and it was an awesome show, man. They tore it up. I was really really proud of them. I've had a couple opportunities to just pause and remind them of that. I thought what they did in beating that team was pretty awesome.
So you guys knock them off. What's the path to get to them? Because once again, as we just spoke, the Pennsylvania is so deep. That's what
Yeah,
people don't understand about Pennsylvania. It doesn't matter if it's double A or triple A. It's so deep, man.
yeah,
It's not it's not a guaranteed shoo-in that the number one team in the country is
no.
going to even make the state dual final against the number two team in the country, Bishop McCourt. What was the path through the dual series for you guys?
So because of how it was laid out this year, we had like a preliminary against Northwestern Lehigh, of all teams, on Tuesday night, the alma mater, and we beat them. And then Friday night we had a quarterfinals against Burrell. Not a bad team, but we matched up with them well, and I think we ended up beating them. I don't know, 70-3 or 70-4 or something. And then we had Bishop McDevitt in the semifinals Saturday morning, and we beat them like 35-23.
Jeez, oh Pete.
Tight, tight score. And I think they're like a top 20 or top 25 nationally ranked team. But they match up with us really well. They got some dogs on that team. And we haven't had a ton of wiggle room as to our lineup. And with that one we did. And we kind of went, you know what, we could bump the lineup and really like command this duel. Um, but we almost kind of looked at it and went, you know what, we could wrestle it straight up. It makes us a little bit more gettable, but literally most of the things could not go our way and we still win a tight duel. And I think what that does is it sort of challenges the guys in harder matchups. And so even if it doesn't go their way, like it gets them a real good tune up before McCourt. Whereas like if we bump the whole lineup, now all of a sudden, a guy that you're supposed to be able to beat, you end up having a hard match with, or even take a loss because you're up a weight class. And now what does that do to your psyche right before McCourt? And we just didn't really like it. Kind of almost felt like you were going to be out coaching yourselves. And so I do think we could have commanded that duel in the semifinals a little bit more, but us coaches met and thought better of how to go about it. And so it ended up being a real tight score because we did lose some of those close ones. Because they're tough, man. Norman's a great coach. Those kids are
That's
really
crazy.
awesome.
That's
Yeah,
crazy because I'm sitting here talking and everybody knows who McCourt is, but you got to go through McDevitt, who nobody in outside of PA really knows. I understand they're a top 20 team in the country,
Beat them by 10 points.
It's great. You beat them, what, 35-25?
Yeah, 35-23.
This is
I think
great,
so.
dude.
It's a
It's
match.
I
It's a
listen.
match. Me too.
I'm reading freaking Sports Illustrated about your guys' dual championship right now. How awesome is that?
Sweet, man. It's sweet. It's warranted. I'm not a big you know me, I'm not in front of the camera a whole lot and certainly not online. A little bit more of a low profile, but I'm so impressed by this group, how they carry themselves. They live for Christ. They train like crazy, and they're just really good ambassadors for the sport for little kids to look up to. I'm glad they're in Sports Illustrated. I'm glad they're getting some coverage. I hope honestly they get more, man. We got uh between Flow Wrestling and PA Power, like there's a lot of news outlets that are could be covering them a little bit more. So I hope they continue to get acknowledged. They're an amazing group.
Do people not reach out to you like how I reach out to you? That seems weird to me. Like, is Willie not reaching out to you? Is PA Power not? Are you not doing other podcast? I'm like being curious because I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't watch a lot of other media. I mean, not that it doesn't matter. I'm just like busy. You know what I mean? But dude,
Yeah.
people not reach out to you and talk to you a lot?
Not really.
That's odd.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I'm being honest with you, like organically in the moment, I don't realize that. So
Yeah.
you said something to me in the summer. You're like, oh, when you were reaching out to me, I was like, well, what's going on here? Why is Zub reaching out to me? Well, first off, Haddad was like, yeah, you got to talk to Clymer. Like, well, yeah, I called one of Clymer's college matches against Edinburgh. And then
Yeah.
when you mentioned that, I was like, why aren't people reaching? Are you not, do you just not do media with other people? What is it?
Like I probably have not helped myself out. This like I'm like I feel like now with how talented the team is, um, and I just get pressed on this a little bit more. Like, hey, why, a lot of these other guys, like McCourt, for example, you know what I mean? You can't open up a computer and not see those guys somewhere doing an interview or whatever. And so sometimes I'll get just pressed a little bit. Like, what are our guys doing? I'm like, what do I know? I got four little kids in a job that's not coaching wrestling. Like, what do you want me to do? And so all of a sudden I start kind of wondering myself, like what could I be doing differently, or why aren't people wanting to cover this team that's like wire to wire, led the nation, and I don't totally have an answer for you. I mean, there's Tom Hausnick is a local guy for the Morning Call, um, a local newspaper in the Lehigh Valley here, and he's in the room and writing articles and does a lot. But yeah, some of the bigger outfits I feel like haven't quite tapped into the awesomeness that is this group. So no, we definitely appreciate you, Zeb.
You
You're
understand
good.
how it's odd to me though, right? Because it's like, I mean, Bo Bassett, Flow Wrestling is literally at the duel. They make a show afterwards, and I understand that Bo's built his brand and he's done that, but it would seem that you guys are the best team in Pennsylvania, you're the best team in the country, the Ironman champs, you're the Beast champs, you're now the PIAA dual champs. You're most likely going to be the national champs pending the PIAA state series individuals. So that's what's odd to me that there's not more of tapping into. And dude, you're hilarious too. You're a funny guy. You know what I mean? Like you're personable. You're easy to talk to. You're brutally honest. But maybe you're not maybe as outward as some other people. So but to me, you're great. Yeah. So it's a head scratcher to me. I mean, I don't understand. Maybe you're just not the media darling that I see you as, and we're pretty personally when we talk, but wow, it's odd because I think when it's all said and done, I think you're going to have one of the top 5, 7 greatest teams of all time in the history of high school wrestling. So that's where I take pause a little bit, and I'm like, why aren't more people talking to this guy? Ben
Yeah,
Clymer, he's a character too.
and I think like again, as I try to wrap my mind around it, and I still have a job to like lead the kids and be a positive role model to them. So I don't want to just start moaning and groaning. Like as I kind of go, yeah, it is a little bit odd that we're not some of this attention isn't being reciprocated like it is to the counterpart. And
But I brought it up. You didn't bring it up. You're not.
no,
You
I know
never
that's what I'm
said to
saying.
me,
Like
Bob, why
I
doesn't
like
anybody want to talk? You've never said it. So that is what is like. I'm like, I'm
yeah.
gonna understand
And
this.
I think as I get pressed a little bit to like figure that out or try to reach out, I kind of have acknowledged it a little bit, like I am with you. Like, yeah, quite honestly, I don't know, but no, I'm definitely not doing those interviews. But it's still an opportunity for me to appear in front of my wrestlers and go, yeah, somebody's missing out on a story, and that stinks for them. But I can tell you that there's not going to be joy found in like moaning and groaning about it and wishing you had more attention. Like the joy is still found in you're training together and pausing to be grateful for your parents and your school and these other people that are really excited for you, and that's still good habits to learn in life. So I'm still maybe it is just like a novice thing for me. Like I got to keep figuring out how to maybe market and find a voice a little bit more. But in the time being, we're staying humble and hungry and making sure that we finish out this awesome season we got to partake in. So
It reminds me of a little of the Penn State thing, but the Penn State thing is everybody wants in, and
yeah,
he's just like, hey, we're good.
yeah,
I think you and him to a degree understand the poison that can be social media, that can be the
yeah,
media, that can
sure,
be the constant connection with your phone and with Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter, X, whatever. And there's just so much, and it's TikTok, and it's dude, it can be soul crushing, and it's
yeah,
like I heard people at work today talking about it, like, oh man, I gotta get off my phone, and I'm like, they're talking about it. I'm like, you don't even understand. I stared at three phones yesterday. Sometimes you've seen it. I'm filming with two phones all the time. So it's like, I'm like, I don't even want to like jump in and be like, oh, well, you did this, so I did it 10 times more. A guy who's, you did this, so I did it 10 times more. Nobody likes that guy, the one upper, right?
yeah,
But, but I think you and Coach Kale, in a compliment to you guys, I think you understand that it can actually affect performance. It can actually affect mentality. It can affect your joy and your happiness and how you look at it. And a lot of it's not real. A lot of the social media is not real because there's editing. There's people that aren't honest. They're one way on camera. They're another off. This
sure.
is you. This is you. I'll be honest with you. This isn't me. I cuss a lot. I know you know that. I cuss a lot more. If there's one thing about I curse a lot,
Yeah.
right? I'm a cursor, but the content doesn't get as much traction. And then my boss is like, hey, you're a public school teacher. Why are you cussing so much on camera? That's another thing I don't want to deal with. And it's a part of professionalism. And you feel more like, oh, this guy cusses every other word when we're on camera. I don't know what to do. So I think that that's a part of that, the professionalism or whatever. But
Yeah.
back to the championships. I appreciate the how you're treating the media, to be honest with you. And I don't think you're treating us in any one way or another, but I think you understand it's not the end all be all. The joy that you guys, the experience you have, and what you're putting into each other, and how you're getting better, and your faith in God.
Yeah.
I commend you for that. So, yeah, good. You're doing a good job, man. You're doing a good job.
I
More
I,
people should be
I,
covering you, though.
I sincerely appreciate it. And just to go back to like you being the one to bring it up and me sort of going, man, that has been a little bit of a hot topic around here. I sincerely don't want that painted to be like a complaint towards anybody. I'm very grateful to the media outlets that are covering our sport, and I think more than anything, like it's just another learning lesson. You know what I mean? Like our team has not been the best in the nation for all these years. I think there's a lot of things that we do and encounter that it's just a new thing and a learning lesson for me, and certainly the social media and just that whole part of it is just a learning lesson for me. So yeah, trying to go about it in a wise, godly, good example sort of way. So I appreciate you saying something, Zeb.
Yeah, and it's an Ohio guy too, right? Like it's like this guy. We're traditionally got this thing. We're Ohio, PA, and but I can sit back and acknowledge, and read basic statistics and numbers and and see
Sure. Sure.
Pennsylvania has double the qualifiers almost every year. You got the most All Americans. There's like one every 5 to 7 years. We might get you.
Yeah.
Jersey gets you. California, or Illinois, something like that, right?
Right.
But I mean, PA rules the roost as far as high school wrestling and college wrestling for that matter too. And it's not just Penn State; it's the depth of Pennsylvania wrestling at the next level. And so I could see where some people in Pennsylvania might take pause with a guy who's from Ohio. Well, what are you? Why does an Ohio guy want to talk to me? Well, I'm a national and world outlet.
Yeah.
GOhioCast. We've been everywhere. We've gone to the Russian Nationals. We've gone to the World Championships. God, when I say we, it's like me basically, but go all over the world. I go to
Jersey owns.
NCAAs every year. I can interview anybody, and because I have knowledge of wrestling, and you can hear my surface knowledge of how the PIAA works and
Yeah.
double A, triple A, and I have an idea how your qualification system works. You got the WPIAL, you got all the different districts. Obviously Lehigh Valley and WPIAL year in and year out rule the roost, right? So, I mean, what's District 6? Is that Central Dauphin where they had a good run?
They would be
Five or
District
six?
3, District 3 AAA.
They're three triple A. Okay,
Yeah. So 3 is like that Harrisburg, just east of State College, and then District 6 is basically State College and a little
okay.
west
So
into that
three and
Alpharetta
six are
area.
good too. I mean, we could go through. I mean, then obviously you got Reynolds, which would be like more northwest.
Yeah.
And you have other teams that are just really tough throughout the state, man. It's actually
There's
incredible.
always those teams though, but you're right in saying like, man, that District 7, the WPIAL, and District 11, the Lehigh Valley, like there's just year in and year out, there's so much depth. Reynolds has been a storied program, and the Central Dolphins, and certainly there are teams that pop up and have runs, and every district has talent. District 4 is not traditionally real good, but Montoursville turns out a good product. Right now, Montgomery has had good product. The Herrera brothers tearing it up. Like, so there's always kids that come and go, but WPIAL and Lehigh Valley definitely staples for a long time.
And hey, by the way, according to Sports Illustrated, Bishop McDevitt, your semifinal opponent that you had to beat to make the state finals,
Yeah.
and there's two divisions in PA. They're the number 10 ranked team in the country, by the way.
Nice. That's an accurate ranking. I thought I saw
Unbelievable.
somewhere that they were, whatever they are, 20th or whatever. I think 10 is an accurate ranking. Those guys are very good, and like I said, well coached. I mean, you could honestly like look back, and it's not accurate because McCourt is amazing. But like last year we beat McDevitt by 10, 12, 15 points in the semifinals. And then we beat McCourt by 30 in the finals. I mean, there could have been somebody saying Devitt was really the second best team in the state last year. And this year we beat them by 12. We beat McCourt by 9. Like there's really not that much disparity between those two teams too. That's not to throw shade at McCourt. Obviously, they're talented, and we got a coin flip in that match, and I was complimenting Coach Bassett. The first match, Freddie Bachman gets called for an illegal slam against Eli Herring. Right at the end of the first period, it was like a second was out already, and there's a lot of coaches who are going, Eli, you're all good, bud. You stay down there. I saw him hit your head. We don't need to continue this match. And they're starting that duel off with 6 points, and I don't know if we'll be able to survive that and come back. And that's not the way they went. Their guy was good. They put him back out there, and so yeah, we certainly had some things go our way in that match, and so it's not to throw shade on them, but that Bishop McDevitt team is legit, man, deserving of the number 10 ranking.
So when you look at it, that match, right? So what did Bachman end up beating Heron by?
Pinned him.
Pinned him.
It
That
was a tight match. So he got called for that illegal slam, and that gave Herring a point. So the first period ended 1-0, and then the second period, Freddie ended up getting a takedown to his back, um, which opened it up. It was 7-2 heading into the third. But then with like 30 seconds left in the third period, we chose neutral. We thought Freddie was going to start to really take him down, cut him, maybe really push the envelope for getting that tech. 30 seconds left. The score's still 7-2. Freddie hits Shuck to a head outside finish. Eli tries to roll and scramble. Freddie traps him stacked upside down on his back and gets the pin call with, you know, 8 seconds left.
8 seconds left is what Sports Illustrated saying.
Dude, we went nuts. Like, we're pretty especially me, like I don't get like too emotional in the corner, bad calls, good calls, whatever. Like I try to remain steadfast and focus on what I'm trying to communicate to guys. And every single person on our bench was friggin' fist bumping and flexing and just all revved up, man. That was a cool match.
So you jumped out on him 1-0 with 1-0 pin. Then Botero comes out. What happens with Botero?
Patera's been dominant. He's down at 121. He's a strong cat at that weight class. And Selfies is a good wrestler, but just not, you can't match Patero's strength there. And so Patero ends up uh, putting it on him. I think he was up 7-0 and got a pin, crossface cradle, patent, 12-0, starting out the duel.
So now we got obviously a big match, one of the biggest matchups, like something that would be like an Iron Man type final.
Yeah.
Bachman Forrest, right?
Yes. So we weigh in two guys at 127. They traditionally have Carfly there, and Jax came down to 27, so that they were also weighing two guys in. We knew that was going to happen. We honestly thought maybe Herring or Jackson Butler would come down to the 136, 137, whatever it'd be in, and sort of make it a tougher thought for us to like bump Joe away from Forrest. But those guys didn't end up doing that. Maybe they couldn't, and we just didn't know it. But yeah, that was the big coin flip. Joe is an elite wrestler, but Jax Forrest is 6 feet tall, cutting down from
Yeah.
133, which is already a cut for him, and that guy's just got such an arsenal of moves. Like Bo's the man, Melvin's the man. I think Jax is the most talented kid on that roster, man. He's so much fun to watch, and so when it comes down to wrestling a duel, everything's just about optimizing points and to me, it's a no-brainer there. Like I don't need to go Joe against Jax, which we're not favored in, and then Henry Racich. I love him to death. He's getting pinned by Carfly. He's a young kid. He's a ninth grader. He's worked really hard to make himself serviceable for our team, but he gives up a lot of techs and pins, man. He's just not quite ready for that stage, and so um, us getting the coin flip to control that weight allowed us to move Joe away from Jax. Henry gets pinned by Jax, and Joe ends up majoring Carfly, who's tough. And now we're down two in that sequence as opposed to being down 9, 10, whatever. So that was a big, obviously a big point swing in the match.
So that's something where you do the coin flip at the beginning that nobody ever understands, right? It's odd,
Yeah,
even matches. Who has to present first? People don't understand this about wrestling duels. They had to present Jax first.
correct.
And when they presented Jax, you sent Carfly out, right?
We sent Henry Racich. Yep,
You sent
Carfly was
Racich
their
out.
other.
You
Yep,
sent Racich out
yep,
versus Jax, right? And then
yes.
Joe had to wrestle uh
Carfly.
Firefly. Okay, I confused it. Sorry. So
That's all
that
right.
that is how that went. Once they presented and Jax stepped on, you knew who to send. So it's like crazy. People don't understand this. Once you send your guy out or you send them to the head table, you've
Right.
presented them and they have to go out and wrestle. So
Yes.
you guys knew this going in. So you had odds.
Yeah, we chose evens. So it
Well,
started
even
at
they had to present
114.
odds.
Yes. So when we get evens, that means for any even match, we have to be the first one to present. So we chose evens when we won the coin flip, and 127 was an odd match. It was the third match. That's what makes it odd. And so they had to be the first ones to present. They sent Jax. We waited. He checked into the head table, and we sent out Racich, and it worked out really well for us.
Bachman Joe Bachman won the Ironman at 20.
Yeah.
Wrestling
He
133.
was he was a 6 pounder last year, man.
Oh my
And now for that match, like he was wrestling another 27 pounder at 33. But
gosh.
dude, you just in this sport, it like it tugs at your heartstrings as a coach because like, you know, kids see it's hard to jump up 2, 3, 4 weight classes and still be successful, especially when you're, a kid like Bachman who's expected to just be the best kid in the universe year in and year out. Um, but like you can see these kids are like their bodies want to grow. And they're like trapped down to a weight class and everything else. And Joe, when he decided to go up, Gage Patera really wanted to come down. Joe was like, good, do it. I want to go up. You just saw like his head got bigger. He like just swelled up. It was like, yeah, you gotta keep feeding yourself through the spring. I don't know totally what weight class he wants to lock into for his world pursuits, but his body's wanting to grow. So is Freddie. Poor Freddie's still trapped down at 116. But it's just a part of the sport, and you try to learn good nutrition and discipline through it. But man, those kids, they want to grow. They're going to be 60, 72 next year, man.
So up from there, you win with Bachman, made your decision. You're moving up, and now you're starting to get into Bo Bassett territory, right?
Yeah, 39 was they had Jackson Butler and Sam Herring, who are both really talented wrestlers, weighed in there. And they sent out Jackson Butler to Mason Wagner. Mason Wagner was a kid that we cut down just for this dual meet tournament. He's typically our 147. He won a big match. Honestly, ended up sort of um putting us in complete control of the match. Like when Mason beat Jackson Butler, which was considered a toss-up match, we were just in the driver's seat. You know what I mean? So somebody had to catch and pin, and somebody had to get an upset for us to really lose control of the duel at that point. So Mason over Butler was a big one. Mason stayed off the scale for a week because it was such a hard weight cut. Just weighed in one time that Saturday at 142 or 143. And that was big. And then his brother Shane, who had been cutting down to 147, lost to Sam Herring. Sam Herring's a stud, but Shane battled, kept it to a decision. And then you get into Bo Bassett. And Bo Bassett did the same thing. He's a 45 pounder naturally, but bumped up to 152 to wrestle Max Stein, who's one of our studs. Um, and that might have been, I don't know, from a spectator standpoint, like one of the better bouts to watch. I feel like between Melvin Miller and Nikki Singer and Bo and Max, like that was just constant action. One match was 17-9, the other one was 12-7. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of points, a lot of action, a lot of toughness by all those guys. So it was big.
You're talking about matches. These are matches we're talking about right now. Don't be shocked if these end up being NCAA finals.
Yeah, no doubt.
Don't be shocked at all, actually. When
Yes.
I say that, oh, these 100%
Yes.
and be NCAA semis, obviously quarters, definitely quarters, right? You will see some of these matches. Maybe they're the match the weights are mismatched because what they'll
Sure.
end up in college or whatever.
Yeah.
We're gonna call out of these matches that you're mentioning right now for your PIAA state championship in double A. We're calling out NCAA's quarters, semis, and finals. I'm calling it right now. It's not. This is not even a bold move for me to call that. It will happen.
100%. The kids are elite, and like they're just driven beyond even the double A team state championship and what's to come 3, 4 weeks from now. Like those are nice benchmarks for them, but they want to be world and Olympic champions. You know what I mean? So when your goals are set that high, like that a lot of people are just trying to be a state champ, or they're just trying to get to that college that they want to get to, and they end up plateauing because their goal was set on simply getting there. We like to use the analogy of like if you're trying to like touch rim in basketball for the first time, like you should look at the top of the backboard. If your sights are set on the top of the backboard, that rim's just going to show up a little easier, show up a little quicker. And I think the same thing is said for these guys. Like they have such elite and lofty goals that they're just going to end up passing up a lot of people and achieving things along the way. And I see that tick in them day in and day out, even on a Monday after an Eagles Super Bowl. Like they were in the room collaborating, getting better, working on techniques we were a little bit deficient in. And you're spot on, man. These guys are elite, and anybody that got to watch that duel knows that a lot of those kids will be competing on the national level in the quarters, in the semis, in the finals. So yeah, it'd be fun to keep watching it all play out.
Shoot for the stars. You get to the moon, that's still pretty good, right? It's essentially what you're saying about the rim and the backboard and the top of the
Yeah,
back, right?
100%.
Okay. So Stein was it who? Wait, was it who wrestled Bo Bassett? Stein.
Yeah, Max Stein.
What was the match result between Bassett and Stein? Okay, first off, Bo really overwhelms everybody, roughs him up, brick in a dryer, dun 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 dun, bounces him, roughs him up. It's an
Oh yeah.
unbelievable physical pace that he keeps. Everybody gets it. What was this match like with 6'2" Max Stein?
Yeah. It was cool, man. Like we were honestly intrigued. Like we've seen Bo just buzz down a lot of people and he came at Max and you could see it trending that direction. And all of a sudden, like Max sort of draped over the top and was tying up ankles and extending scrambles, and all of a sudden there was no takedown on the edge, and Max did a good job despite feeling that fatigue of just getting his head up, presenting himself back to the center, and Bo still did his thing and scored a lot of points. But how many times have you seen, even in Powerade and Iron Man and these elite competitions, like he techs and pins everyone, and he does
Yeah,
a lot of it in the first period, maybe the second period if they should last that long. So, for Max to make it the distance and ended up with a takedown, late in the third, like 30 seconds left against Bo, and then stuck his leg in and rode him out for the duration of that. Ended up losing 17-9. It was awesome, man. We're really proud of Max, but yeah, it was Bo's pace. He was able to get to Max's legs all day long, but Max, you know, kept getting back to his feet if he got taken down, and to the tune of 4 or 5 times, like was able to just really extend some lengthy 15, 20, 25-second scrambles that didn't yield any points, and you just saw it, come the end of that second period, it had taken a little bit out of Bo, and allowed Max to counter in the third and get a takedown of his own. And you just don't see that often. Which is a testimony to how good Bo is. So it's a compliment to him. But it was definitely one of those energy boosters to our team. That's what I'm saying. Like when I say in the beginning of this interview how proud I was of the guys. Like yes, we got the coin flip. But like Freddie catching a pin and Gage following it up, Joe getting major, Mason winning the big one against Butler, Shane not giving up bonus, and then all of a sudden you got like Max Stein extending scrambles and taking Bo down at the end and finishing on top, like losing a 17-9. Like that's when you start to go like these boys just got it, man. You know what I mean? Like they're 3-time state champions. They beat a Notre Dame team 2 years ago that was really good. Um, they beat McCourt by 30 points last year, and they were a good team then. And now all of a sudden in a duel that we definitely weren't favored, like we just got it. Like they've got a moxie to them and a belief in themselves. Like we know how to train. We know how hard, one another has worked here. And when the lights are on, we will get our job done. We've done our scouting. We know our roles and responsibilities, and you can sit back as a coach and trust that we're going to get it done. And Max was a great indicator of that. So really fun to watch. If you Max is so good at a switch, which sounds a little bit foolish, but there's 2 or 3 times where like literally Max's defense, if you will, was like standing straight up. Bo steps in, grabs his leg. Max like starts turning away as if he's like cooked and just going to give up the takedown. and then he just hard switches back into him and scoots and scrapes and passes an ankle, and all of a sudden there's no takedown, and you know, just Max Stein stuff, man. It was a fun one.
So he's hitting standing switches on Bo, kind of
Yeah,
throwing him off, and then
yeah.
getting into the point where he can pass an ankle, get to a stalemate position, burn 10, 15 seconds.
Yes. We talked about our practice today too. Like we've got so many different styles on the team. And like obviously there's some fundamental attributes like you have to be able to execute as a wrestler, right? Stance and motion and head up, back straight. Like there are some fundamental things that you need to be able to do. But we really try to like pride ourselves on like, you know, Freddie is so much different than Gage Matero, and Gage is different than Max Stein, and Max Stein's different from Chase Hans and Adam Waters and like all these other guys. Like, you know, some guys are really fundamental, some guys are unorthodox. And guess what? Even today, as we tried to come back to the practice room and go, we got to clean this up. These fundamentals were off. But you know what? By the way, I'm pretty glad like Max Stein wasn't a fight for inside tie, dig your forehead in there, matches height. Like that wasn't Max Stein, and it kind of threw Bo off a little bit that he had a different way of looking at things and creating scrambles. So yeah, kind of a good acknowledgement to you know, be yourself and trust yourself and your instincts, and maybe it's something a little different that could throw somebody off. So
Yeah, you're nuts if you try and match his pace, intensity, and
yeah,
physicality.
it doesn't work out for a lot of people.
Your coach missed the scouting report and doesn't have social media and might just read newspapers because or
Yeah,
doesn't have YouTube or Flow
yeah,
Wrestling. Because this guy just grabs you and he blah, blah, blah. Brick in a dryer, da dun, da dun, da dun. I say it to his dad all the time. Just
yeah.
dude, the physicality is unbelievable.
It
Like
is. It is unbelievable.
it's I like Colat was physical like him, but Colat was like super athletic and did flips
Yeah,
and was like powerful. And Bo's just different in the sense of like how he grabs you and he moves you and he bounces your head off the mat. And it's wild to watch. I mean, yeah, it's amazing. I can't wait to see it at the next level, I'll be honest. But you guys got a lot of the damage control matches where Stein doesn't get tacked. You do it in the next match too, right?
yeah. So Devin Magro wrestled Chase Hans, and Devin's a stud. He's and he's been having like an amazing year. He lost to somebody at Iron Man in a match where I thought he got screwed a little bit. I can't think of the kid's name. Anyway, Magro's a beast. No doubt trains with Bo, has a good pace to him, has a physicality to him, and like Chase has won a lot of big matches. I would say that like he's just been wrestling on his heels a little bit here as of late, and I know that he'll get that turned around for individuals, but like that was a match where I was like, yeah, I don't love this matchup right now. And Chase still like battled and wrestled a savvy match and kept, you know, same thing as Shane Wagner, you know, ended up fending off a shot and extended scrambles at the end to not give up bonus points. Um, and so, yeah, like when you have everything go your way, and then you have a string of matches and Herring, Bo Bassett, Devin Magro, where you could be giving up a cluster of bonus points and you give up one, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And then you did the same thing again with Melvin Miller and Singer. Once again, it turns out. So here's what people don't understand about this new scoring, right? 9-1. I see a lot of 9-1s, which what ends up with a 9-1 is here's normally what happens with a 9-1. Two takedowns in the first, right out, 6-1, neutral, takedown, 9-1, right?
Yep.
Gotta let him go. 9-2. The guy will then take him down, feet to back, and it becomes then 9, what's that? 15, right? Then you got
Yeah, if he
6,
got all of them,
16,
it would be
2.
16. Yeah.
I see a lot of 16 twos. I see a lot of tech pins.
Yeah.
The 7-point move is an absolute game changer. And this
Yeah.
team you're wrestling has the ability to hit
Um,
multiple 7-pointers on you.
yeah.
So I see
100%.
I see 10-1, let them go 10-2, 9-2, 9-1. I see all these scores, and it always ends, and it throws me off. Guys will always get a 7-pointer for a tech or a pit, and then they'll tech maul, they'll readjust, they'll demoralize the guy and pin him,
Yeah.
right? I see that a lot, and that's what this new scoring has done. They couldn't do that to you though.
No, the guys were gamers, man. That like Melvin, same thing. They bumped I credit our guys because they should be, but Bo did bump up to 72. Magro did bump up to 60. Melvin did bump up to 72. Maybe they're going to wrestle those weights for individual. They've wrestled those weights most of the time in dual meets because they, like us, they have some depth like in the middle. And so if you can notch in a Shane Wagner, dude, you got to find a way to do it because that kid's a stud. And they think the same of Jackson Butler and McMullen, different guys that they have to utilize. So they bumped Melvin up to Nikki Singer at 172. And Nikki is, he just doesn't fear anybody. He can be chaotic and lack some discipline in his technique, but he's got a motor on him, and you just feel that when you wrestle him, like, yo, what's wrong with this kid? Why does he keep diving after me? Why is he like smacking me in the face? And then all of a sudden he gets on top and he's like choking you out, legs, power half, ripping your shoulder out. And so he probably leads our team in pins. And when the likelihood of Melvin bumping up to 72 against Nikki was something that we were trying to figure out. Like in some of our reports, I honestly would not have been surprised to have Nikki winning that. The score was 9-7 late in the third, and Nick had the momentum. He even had a single leg, wasn't able to finish it, and then ended up getting a little bit desperate with 10, 15 seconds left. Gave up a go behind sort of takedown and lost 12-7. So he wrestled really well, and Melvin's an absolute stud. So that's a fun match to watch.
Going into now you go to the number 2 guy in the country in Waters, right? Ironman champ. He's really good. State champ.
Who's the number one kid in the nation?
They got him 2 here. They got him 2. Just so you
That's,
know.
that's what I'm saying. Who is the number one though?
Oh, I don't know. You tell me.
I got Adam Waters number one.
I'm telling you, in the summary that I have of the match, they have Adam Waters as the number 2 guy. I don't get it either, but I want to know who number 1 is.
I got to know who number one is. Like
We could Google it. I mean, we can figure it out real quick. Is
yeah.
it someone? When we look at it, we're gonna be like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I guess I see where they're coming from. There's a lot of those ones that are head scratchers. Though, like,
Who is it?
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, hold on. How is PJ Duke the number 1 pound for pound over Marcus Blaze?
Oh yeah, Marcus Blaze has got to be the guy, dude.
It's not. So what you're doing there, I want you to think about this. You're you have to exclude all of Marcus Blaze's Olympic trials data. You have to exclude all of Marcus Blaze's world team trials.
Is Marcus Blaze committed yet?
He's going to Penn State. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no way! I didn't
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah. 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 I love that in the moment you just found that out. I love it. It's so organic.
I did the same thing with Bo. I kid you not. Like,
Yeah.
you wonder why I don't like. I don't talk to. I don't
Well,
have a lot of people contacting me.
You're in your box. You're in
I'm
your
in my box, man.
you live in a small.
Yo,
You're in the Faith Christian room. That's where you are. You're not
I'm in the
out
Faith
on the
Christian room,
internet.
and we got
You're
4
not
little
doing
kids.
this. You're not doing this.
Oh
You're
my
not
goodness,
looking.
man.
It's a beautiful thing what you're doing. Keep doing it.
Okay.
And
I really did I was well aware of Bo and him taking a team away and he was going to commit soon and everything else. And but I sincerely did not see that he had committed to Iowa, and they were talking about it at practice, and I said, did he commit there? And they were like, are you kidding me? I was like, no, I did not see it. They were like, you're the only person in America.
Coach Clymer,
I did not know
Coach
Blaze
Clymer
was still
pours
there.
stuff that gets hard. He pours stuff in the ground and
That's
forms
right. That's
it
right, man.
it gets hard, right?
concrete block
Got
work
to
and
cut it, then you got to cut it, and right? You
back
got to
home to the
cure it,
kid.
steal it, cut it, right?
Uh-huh.
Just that. Hold on. So first, I did the priorities wrong. He's got 4 kids that hang off of him that he's with. He's hiking with him. He's all over with him, right? He's got these 4 kids. He pours stuff that gets hard, right? It's real hard. Then he goes to the wrestling room and he goes to church. I'm guessing I just probably nailed the 4 things in your life.
That's it, baby.
Did I get it?
Yeah, that's it. That's
Okay.
it.
So they don't understand that. They think
No.
this is a big part of your life, and it's not. It's clearly not. People can figure that out when you and I talk. I can't wait to see who is ahead of Waters. The kind of has me like this. Kind of like when it's agreed just to put PJ Duke over Marcus Blaze.
Yeah.
I get it if you're just going on high school data, but when you put the senior data there and the guys he's beaten Nashawn Garrett, he's beaten Nico Magaludis, he's beaten she's a piece gross, he's beaten
He
Dayton
beat Fitz.
Fitz. I mean, dude, come on, guys. I think PJ's beaten Antonian, he's beaten maybe Ashnault, maybe. Um
I think Bo beat
Bo
Nash.
beat Ashnault as well, I think. I might be wrong on PJ beating Ashnault. But I know Bo has beaten Ashnault.
I mean, did you Marcus? Uh, I'm a big Vito guy coming from Long Island.
He's all over Vito, dude. He's
Dude, he
Vito's
was
right
all
in his
over
range.
him. He was all over him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's right
Marcus
there.
Blaze got to be
Marcus
pound for
Blaze is
pound.
the pound for pound, and I know that you know wrestling,
Yeah,
and PJ Duke's good, right?
he's very
But
good.
I mean, the only guy who Marcus has lost to, are what's his Ono, the Japanese guy who's the pound for pound number one guy in
Yeah,
the world.
the greatest guy in the world
Yeah,
right
the
now.
guy who beat Vito in the fun, the world tip, and then Vito. Those are the 2 guys he's lost to. I just don't see Duke beating Zane Rutherford. You know what I mean? Like I just don't see that. But we'll know about the both of those real quick because he'll have to wrestle Zane Rutherford every day, and
Yeah.
guessing he'll have some bad days against Zane Rutherford. A lot. I think everybody in Penn State Shrooms had a bad day against Zane Rutherford or 100.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so you send Waters out. Waters, was he rip a headlock? What do you do?
Yeah. Yeah. He got a takedown. I'm trying to think. Did he get a takedown, then cut him, and then hit a lefty? I think he did. It was only like a 40-second match. But yeah, I feel like he might have snapped to a go behind. CJ Pensiero is who he wrestled. He's got a good hips to him, strong kid. Same thing, bumping up a weight class to wrestle Adam, doing a solid for his team. But yeah, Adam's just got he could take you down and then turn you in a bar. He pins people and tilts. He's so strong. And then he's just got if you want to try to keep your head up and stay tough with him as he hand fights you, he can hit the best people in the country in a lefty headlock. And that's what happened to Pensiero. Like I said, I can't remember if it was takedown cut, then lefty, or just straight lefty, but Adam's the best kid in the nation at that weight class. So
I agree with you. There's
yeah.
not an argument from me. I'm gonna have to look at the Willie Big Board or whatever to see what
Yeah,
they
yeah.
because that's a head scratcher for me personally. So then at 215, is it 215?
Yeah, after 89, it's 215.
Because your weights are all wonky. When we talk about that, I'm like, they 114. Like this weight's weird.
I'm very grateful to the PIAA. I got to wrestle under that umbrella. They very professional and work really hard to provide opportunities, big stages for the kids. We got to get the weight class figured out. Like we just need to be in the 14 weight class
Yes,
NFHS system.
correct,
It would
correct.
solve so much.
Why is the best state not following the national federations? I don't.
Yeah.
Then you got to go to
They
those out of state things, and it's wrong, and you've got to like reshuffle your
they
lineups, and it's weird.
they put out like a questionnaire to like really find out from schools why programs were dropping, you know what I mean? Like as wrestling is becoming not popular in Pennsylvania. This goes back 5, 6 years, but they want to do well by the sport, by the schools, and I think a lot of people were referencing certain weight classes and forfeits and not being able to fill out teams as well as they were 10 years ago. And so all of a sudden there was a drop in weight classes to try to incentivize more teams to keep their programs. And I don't know how well it's worked out, but it's annoying when you're, wrestling on a national schedule. So it'd be awesome if they went back to 14.
I would say super annoying for me when we're talking. Like I'm trying to just guide through this, and I'm like, what's the weight? It's 215. So
Yeah.
we get 89, 215, 285. So at least I can get those right. But then you're talking 147. What is that?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, what 215, who do you send out?
Jay Singer, Nick Singer's older brother. He's committed to Lehigh. He's a stud. He'd been nursing a little bit of an injury. And so we trusted him fully. McCourt was not one of their standout guys at 215. So Jay went out and teched him. Yeah, Jay got a tech. And yeah, just did his job and stayed healthy doing it. So that was a blessing. And Mark went out then. Mark the Shark. Their
Big
heavyweight
Mark.
is
Big
solid.
Mark. Yeah, I
Yeah,
talked
Big
to Big
Mark.
Mark at Ironman.
Yep. Did their heavyweight place? Maybe he was around a 12 guy at Ironman.
No,
So
their heavyweight got beat by EJ German of Brecksville in ultimate rideout. And that I was down in that lower gym.
yeah,
And when German beat him, it was crazy because
yeah,
Brecksville had two placers back to back, like right there, which they've had their ups and downs, and they're a tough D1 team in Ohio, top 50 team in the country.
yeah.
They had two placers, and it was crazy because yeah, he beat the McCourt dude to place. And then, I just Big Mark. Big Mark's got that guy's number. He's going to beat him at the individuals. I mean, Big Mark's got, yeah, Big Mark. Look out.
Big Mark is the man. He's hysterical too. He's a huge Philly guy. I still think he's down there partying after the Super Bowl win.
I
But
saw him carrying a light post or
yeah, that was him. That was him.
they were riding horses. They had horses. They were on horseback last night.
Crazy. Yeah.
It was wild. They were
Oh,
carrying the actual literal street uh traffic
yeah.
stoplights, knocking
Yeah.
those down, carrying them. Kelsey, what's the other Kelsey? Jason?
Jason.
Jason tipped over the Jason rolled the he rolled the helmet. He rolled the
Nice.
building. He did, I swear to God.
Nice.
In the streets of Philadelphia.
Nice.
I'm guessing he wasn't sober either.
No.
No.
Fun fact, my third oldest daughter, Kelsey, somewhat named after Jason Kelsey. Spelled the same way, Kelce.
Listen, I have the news for you, by the way.
What?
Harvey Liddington,
Oh yeah.
Brick Memorial.
He was that's a Jersey
Yes,
school.
Jersey boy.
I think he was supposed to be at Beast and he wasn't. Yeah, I'm sure he's real good.
No, that's
Adams.
what I'm saying. Like that guy's tough. That's like when you look at that, for me, it's like, rankings. If they don't have a head to head, obviously it's like that pound for
Yeah,
pound one to me. It's like
yeah,
throwing out some data that's pretty important that would
sure.
actually be helpful, I think, to make that person. The PJ Duke thing's crazy to me over Marcus plays. That's just me talking out loud to you,
Yeah,
but on a thing that's recorded that everybody can see in the internet, I don't care. They can roast me all they want, and be like, I'm an Ohio homer. You're throwing that other data out, the senior data, all the senior guys in the senior level he's beaten. That's the only way you could not make him the pound for pound number one guy.
yeah.
He's never been taken down in high school, by the way.
I'd take him down.
I hope you could grab him, do this, crunch him, and like snitch. I hope you could do that.
I would just out slick him. I would out slick him.
Okay,
Like
now you're getting nuts. I can see you grabbing him like an old piece of like a piece of farm machinery, like old reaper.
yeah,
I
like
can
on
see you
stock and
grinding him
block,
up.
man.
So hey, Big Mark
Yeah,
checks the box. He's the one that he seals the deal.
yeah.
Why not send your 107 pounder out?
I think it really was just like the matches at hand. Our 7 pounder, he was a definite underdog against Keegan. Like honestly, like
Yeah.
in our preparation was we need you to go the distance. That's your game plan. Uh, stay on your feet as long as you can and defend a cross wrist. And Keegan has more than that, but Shane was definitely a big underdog, and he has been one of our guys that um, stepped up for us, like in the Sem Duel, um, and stepped up for us in some competitions throughout the year. But he had a knee surgery, a knee injury right at the end of the fall, and so like our game plan was let's heal up as best we can December, and then we'll start a slow climb back. But because he was like, no, I'm making the weight and you're sending me out there versus Sam, which is a really cool thing, but he's not healthy. He's sort of been somebody that we go, okay, let's try to rest a week and we'll see what we can go with the next week. And he's finally on a string of 2 or 3 weeks where he's been pretty solid. And so that went into it a little bit, but also just like at that point, little gamesmanship and a dual meet. Like we just won this big duel that everyone's talking about. Why we finish on a sour note? You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
duel's at hand. Keegan, tip of the hat, take your win. We're gonna keep celebrating here, and that's what we went with.
So honestly, I gotta say this. Shout out honestly to Bill Bassett.
Yeah.
Could have pulled the scumbag move. Could have done the Herring stay down move. He didn't.
Yes.
They put it on the mat. So you got to give him all the credit in the world.
100%.
Bill does that. We don't want to win that way. I appreciate that. I know you obviously appreciate it
Yeah.
because um, the real result came out, but that's a 12-point swing. You lose by two,
Yep.
right? You pin him, but instead default illegal slam, 6 points the other way, 12-point swing, you
Yeah.
lose by two. So shout out to Bill
Yes.
not winning
100%.
that way, because then I think there might be you might actually go further into your box and not do this interview at that point. You know what I mean? Because like you just be, you know what I mean? Like that would be infuriating, and you'd just be
Well,
like,
if we would have been in that situation, then Jay works for the fall.
yeah,
Mark also works for the fall. We send Shane out, gives up the tech. We're still having the interview.
I love that you still are able to tell me your path to victory. The
Different
Bill
situation.
Bassett takes the dive as this
As
guy
much as as
has him
much
take
as I
the
don't
dive.
indulge in these sorts of things, when it comes to the technical part of what we do week in, week out, and the match strategy, the guys' goals, the weight descent plans, everything like that. Like I love that part of it so much. And I'm so thankful. Tom Hotz, Matt Whittemore, my brother Scotty, RP, Sheets, Brian, the coaching staff that I get to be around. Like we have coaching meetings, we hang out, we talk about this stuff. Like you could pull notes from our end of December meeting, um, and look at pretty much the exact lineup that was rolled out for that state dual championship. And um, it wasn't the exact results, but Matt Weidemoyer, one of our coaches, had the final score if we got the coin flip at uh 36, 35, 26. What was the final score?
35-25.
34,
Wait,
25.
whoa.
Sports Illustrated has it wrong.
34-25.
Yeah,
34-25.
he has that result. So yeah, we do love that part of the whole coaching game, and we would have found a path to victory.
I love it. I know
But
my thing is
you're spot on. Kudos. I would have done
no.
the same thing, no doubt, but most other people would not have, especially in that situation, especially that match. And I was standing there telling Freddie to stay poised, just shut your mouth, stay poised. And I was watching to see how they were handling that situation, and there never once was, from Coach Forrest, from Coach Bassett, from anybody else, um, a whisper to consider calling it. So Yeah, they're a great staff. They're a great program. They're good call out by you.
So here's what I'll say. We talked in December. I called out all the mulligans you had, right? I talked about the Sem duel. I talked about Beast. If you don't win the beat, you won it. Um, and you've won all the other subsequent tournaments you guys have entered in. Was it Coal Crackers, another one?
That's a big one.
Yeah. Escape the Rock. Were you guys at Escape the Rock?
Yeah, ETR's that one is actually a big one. A lot of
Yeah.
Blair, Malvern,
Yeah.
Lake Highland Prep, a team that's been nipping at our heels all year long. Yo, that's a team.
Dude, that Palazzo guy knows what he's doing.
That guy knows what he's doing. That
I don't
team
want
is
to fight that
legit.
guy either.
Um, that like that team in a duel situation, Zeb. Um, yeah,
Nightmarish. They're a bad,
nightmare.
they're a really bad matchup for a lot of people.
Yeah,
And he understands all the stuff like the flips and the hey, send this guy out against this guy. Hey, that's an attack. This guy's not going to get pinned. This guy's not going to get tech to give up a major, or we can keep it to a regular decision. He's that good. He understands all that too. He understands who's got to present first. He's analytically looking at I mean, Mike Plaza, he gets it. So,
yeah.
yeah, nightmare matchup. You guys don't have that, so let's that hypothetical. Let's leave that hypothetical off the table.
Next
Let's
year.
talk about moving forward. You've run the gauntlet. You took the loss to the Blue Knights of Wyoming Seminary. You got them everywhere else you saw them. Iron Man, Escape the Rock, I believe. You got more of the ones I said that gives you the nod, right? But it's not in the bag. How much of this lineup obviously changes a bunch from the dual championships because it's a dual, right? You got a bump and you got that. You have to lock them in at the what is it? District your lowest district
Yeah.
regional state.
Yep.
You have to lock them in at the district, navigate them through the district, navigate them through the regional, get them to the Giant Center in Hershey, Pennsylvania. You do not hit with McCourt. They're out of like Whitfield area, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They're District 6.
District six. Okay,
We'll wrestle them as states.
they're not Whitfield though. They're District 6,
Correct.
but they're Western PA.
Yep.
Okay, Johnstown area.
Exactly. Yeah.
So okay, so you're not gonna see them, and you won't know any of this till your district regional. There's injuries. There's all these things, right?
Right.
What do you got to do to run the gauntlet, win the PIAA tournament like you did last year, win the duels like you already did?
Yeah.
What do you got to do between here and there? And when does the state series start? When is the district?
So it starts up like this weekend is off, and then the following weekend it starts. So
Okay.
February 22nd starts a 3 weekend in a row cycle. Districts the 22nd, regionals March 1st, states March 6th through 8th. So it's coming up upon us quick, and we even talked about it today. Like there's just we need to consider ourselves lowly. There's a parable in the Bible of the wedding feast, and Jesus basically says like it's better to sit at the back and be told, "Yo, what are you doing back there? Come sit up here by the wedding party. You're a big dog. Better to be of that mindset than to sit yourself at the front and then have to be told, what are you doing sitting here at the head table? Go sit at the back." It's like those who humble themselves are going to be exalted. Those who exalt themselves are going to be humbled. And so we just got to do a job of humbling ourselves, even though there's been a lot of endorsements of the success of this program. We gotta wake up early. We gotta run sprints. We gotta compete with each other. We gotta collaborate with each other, watch video, and just keep getting better at our craft. So um, there'll be that component of it for sure. And like I said, the guys are so fun to watch because they do that well. They're gonna lock into that. They're gonna be mean. They're gonna have a snarl to them. They had it today. Tomorrow will be another evidence of that. So that is what has to be done. But beyond that, Zeb is like I do think one of the things that helps their poise is we're not going to be talking about the state championships every single day over the next 3 weeks. We're going to be finding ways to honor our parents. We're going to be finding ways to pick up our trash, and we're going to be finding ways to be grateful for our teachers and just to like live life. We're gonna our guy Owen Bruner got a cancer-free diagnosis last week. One of our campus pastors has a surgery to remove a mass in his esophagus February 26th. Our athletic director's got a baby coming up end of March, early April. Like we're just prioritizing like life things and continuing to try to like just better the people around us and show Christ to the people around us. And like if that is really a part of how we live and how we attack our day by day, we do it the right way, that state championship's going to come. We're going to be joy filled. We're going to go compete as hard as we can. And I have no doubt that the guys are going to compete with that sort of moxie and confidence and belief. Not like it's gripped them for the last month. Like, oh my goodness, what if we don't? It's just what they love to do. So we gotta not veer from those habits and that mindset. So back at the Giant Center too, it's a tough place to beat us. Like we know the security guards, we know the back hallways, we know the janitors in that building. That's our spot, man. So I can't wait.
I know that you might not want to tip your cap on lineup stuff, but is there anything anywhere you can tell me where we will in fact see? And Waters is obviously going to stick at what's the weight 89? Is it 89 in your in PA?
89.
Is he going to? He'll obviously stick at 89.
I think him and Shark are gonna wrestle off for heavyweight. Don't tell anybody though.
Okay. Okay. I
Nah, he'll
listen.
stick at
I
89.
appreciate you giving an answer like that. Thank you. Uh so 107 is set. Are you going to stick with 107? You cut him down.
I think I would tell you the biggest one, and it like as of right now, it is set. And like in all honesty, it is set. Shane Young will be 7, Freddie Bachman will be 14, Gage Butera will be 21, Bachman will be 27, Henry Racich will be 33. At 41, Lincoln Butero, Gage's little brother, is the starter. Um, and he's definitely not like a bad wrestler. He's just been injured for the last 3 years. And so this year he's been healthy and he's stepped up and he's added some good reps and he's a starter in the lineup. Um, but Mason Wagner is a superior wrestler. You know, that kid is very, very talented. But as of now, Mason is not uh, feeling capable of making that descent to 141. He made 143 on the last day of team states, one time weigh in, and he wrestled awesome. Um, but it's a one time. He stayed off the scale for a week leading up to that, and he did it one time. Like, yeah, I got your back. I'll do this for the team. As it relates to entering the individual postseason at 141, weighing in 3 weekends in a row, doing back-to-back weigh-ins for regionals, doing back-to-back-to-back 3-day weigh-ins for states. I've tried to talk him into it a handful of times, and he's really not thinking like that's the best thing, not really doable for him, quite honestly. And I tend to agree. I just kind of leaving it open, for a
If the kid's going to
potential
do it, the kid's going to do it.
right.
It's up to him
So
at this point. If not, young Botero goes, right?
young Batero goes, and
Young
Shane
Botero goes.
Wagner in that situation would just not be the starter. Mason is considered the 145-pound starter at this time, and then
Okay.
Stein 52, Chase 60, Nick
That
72,
that
straight
stuff's
from
set.
there. What's that?
That stuff's set. Once
Yeah,
you get past young
yep.
Botero and Wagner, it's set.
Everything's set. Just that 141, it is set. But if Mason were to at some point communicate he's gonna give it a try or wants to, then we probably would acknowledge a coach's decision, wrestle off something like that between him and Lincoln. So but as of now, our sort of deadline to wrestle off has passed and guys have had time to consider where they want to be and that's our lineup, man.
This could come down to finalists. This could not be over. This could come down to who you put on the mat in the Giant Center, one mat, whole arena. it could come down to your finalist, right? They could have six,
Well,
you could have seven, they could whatever it may be, right? There's going
yeah,
to be head to heads. This is going to come down. This is an all time great team state race, an all time great. And we're talking Pennsylvania, right?
yeah,
We're talking the country, all 50 states that in fact have high school wrestling. I think all 50 have it now. Arkansas jumped on board. Some other states that didn't traditionally have it now, right? This is the race to look at.
yeah.
PIAA, double A, McCourt, and I know there's going to be spoilers in there, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I know that there's going to be. It's just so deep. That's the other thing and we've talked about it, but it's not just McCourt versus Faith Christian. There's so many other teams that can be, they can wreck the party for you, man. How do you
Yes.
navigate it?
There is and there will be, and that's sort of the fun of it all. And honestly, like a thing you talk about, like Shane Young, again, he's really talented. He's just been really injured, but like we need somebody like that to qualify for the state tournament. You know what I mean? So he can get there, gain that experience for himself. But like, man, if you can snag a win or two, or maybe even put together a crazy tournament, end up on the podium, but like you got to be there and have a shot at contributing a point or two or three, because like that's what this team race is going to come down to. Um, and so like that's going to play a big factor. And you could do the same thing for their lineup. Like, okay, are they going to bump everybody up again for the individual? Or are they going to eliminate a Jackson Butler? Is their heavyweight going to qualify? Is he going to be a contributor out there at the individual portion of things? Like, um, a lot of those things leading up will also play a big factor. How many qualifiers do they have? Are those kids earning them any points? Same thing for us. But yeah, it is definitely going to be a tight team race heading right into the final round. There's going to be some head-to-head matchups, but there's probably going to be even more like spoiler type of matchups where you see Bishop McDevitt and Montgomery, Montoursville, teams like that are doing their thing. Cathedral Prep, double A now. So
The Ramblers, huh? The Ramblers get in there a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah.
Wow, dude, that is. I'm telling you, must see TV. And what is your weekend? Are you the Big Ten weekend? What weekend are you guys? I forget. What's your state weekend?
It's March 6th to 8th. I don't even know what Big Tens are.
It is your weekend is the same as Ohio's. Yeah, that's the conference weekend. That's the
Nice.
college conference weekend.
Is that that's not a 3-day tournament, or is it?
Ohio,
Big Ten championships.
three Big Ten's two.
2 days
2 day.
that weekend. Is it Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday?
It's usually Saturday, Sunday.
Cool.
Saturday, Sunday for Big Ten. Yeah, it's Saturday, Sunday. And then all the other ones are all wonky and weird. Eastern EIWA's a 2 day. Mac is somehow Mac's huge. I wrestled in a 16 Mac that they would do in no, it was a 2 day then. I don't know how you made a 16 2 day, but whatever. Southern Conference is one, ACC is one. Yeah, because I've covered all those. I covered ACC, I've covered the SoCon. I've never done the Eastern. I've done the Big Ten. Mac obviously wrestled in it and covered it a bunch of times. So yeah, I mean, the conferences are different, and it takes away from me, right? Like, especially when the Mac is at like Kent State or it's at Cleveland State or who's dropping wrestling, but
Yeah.
it's at Edinburgh. That's a no-brainer for me to go to those.
Yeah.
Um, but I missed last year. I missed the Mac in Kent, which is half an hour from my house, because I was at the state tournament. My nephew was wrestling for D3 in Ohio. So
Yes.
it's a busy time for me, and I know it's obviously a busy time for you, but you're just so focused in your box.
That's it.
You are, and it's good for you, man. I love it.
It
What
is.
else do you have for me, Coach Clymer? Anything?
Birds win is huge. It was a cloud 9 sort of weekend here in Eastern Pennsylvania, but none bigger than our guy Owen Bruner. He's been a 2-year starter for us. I don't know if we talked about him or not, but a year ago got diagnosed with leukemia out of nowhere, and he'd been battling it. He beat it in October, and all of a sudden his counts were back down, and started January, and they wanted to do a bone marrow test to make sure it wasn't back. That got his parents a little spooked and got us praying again. And just last week he got a result that it's not back. His body just needs to have a little bit more time to recover from the chemo, and he's doing a good job. So got to get a morning lift in with him before we headed out to team states last week, and uh, excited to have him a little bit more part of our individual journey here coming up. So
That's
that's a
great to
big
hear, Coach.
thing. Yeah, man.
That's great to hear. I see. I like good news. I
It's
like
a
good news.
good
It's not
news.
wrestling. I like good news. I'm a good news guy. I like the hearing about people winning fights like that.
Yeah.
And to be fair, whenever they talk about their body, oh man, their body's weak. Well, they're poisoning them. They're putting chemotherapy. They're putting radiation. They're putting all different types of cancer treatment that's killing their body. And the goal is to kill the cancer. And sometimes it weakens the person so much because it's killing their body. Those are great. That's a great thing. I'm glad you shared that, man. I really appreciate it. My mom's she's battling right now. She's got a shout out to Sandy Miller. She's got a 3 stage 4 cancers. My mom has. So, but yeah, she's battling right now. She has bone cancer, lymphonic, and breast. So
Man,
she's a tough old girl, Sandy Miller. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna
she
let you know she's tough. She's tougher than a $2 steak.
how long she been battling that, Zeb? It's
Um,
a lot.
geez, she's been at it about August 2023. August 2023, her like whole side was paralyzed. And they're hillbillies. My family's like hillbillies. So they were just going to the chiropractor.
Yeah.
Chiropractor.
Yeah.
Finally, the chiropractor, luckily, not all chiropractors would do what this person did. They're like, I can't do anything more for you, Sandy. You have to go to the doctor. So if
Yeah.
my mom would have waited 3 or 4 more days, she'd have been dead.
Wow.
They went in and the her arm was broken from the bone cancer. Um, her lymph nodes in her armpit and her breast were so big it had paralyzed her, and she was starting to atrophy. And then,
Oh.
yeah, man, and now she's getting bone drips, which is what they do. Obviously, it's the treatment for bone cancer, which is one of the more painful cancers that there are. And I hear good things. Cancer is just such a mixed bag with different people because it's like what hand you're dealt, whether it's leukemia, bone, breast. There's all these different types of breast cancer. Two main ones. She has a treatable kind, but it's such a we had the coach from Lake Erie College, Andrew Bearden. He got leukemia and he was dead in 2 years. He was gone. We lost him in July. Great guy. Another my cousin's uh, husband, George Murphy. They both got the same leukemia, and there's multiple types of leukemia that you get, and there's one that you just no one beats it, right?
Yeah.
Bone marrow, all these different things that they do for it, you can't beat it. It's unfortunate, but yeah, like and then my mom, who's 76, gets to take 1 pill a day and live. That's just life's not fair. You know that.
It's not, man. You got people that smoke 2 packs a day and
Yep.
don't get nothing, and people that live healthy lives and get something. And I tell you what, though, it's a good segue into what we try to impress upon the kids. Like life is so short; you're not guaranteed tomorrow, and we do choose to like look outside and acknowledge there's a creator God to this universe. There is a heaven and hell, and the Bible says something about that. Like you don't get to earn your way to heaven. You get to go to heaven by accepting that God sent His Son for you, and um, that's the truth that we try to impress upon everybody by how we live. We're not trying to preach sermons at people, but try to live in a way that impacts people with that truth. Because you could end up with leukemia tomorrow. You could be dealt a bad hand, and But at some point, we're all going to meet our maker, and you want to be excited about that, not terrified by it. So, uh, hopefully, we do a good job of keeping that message at the forefront of everything we're doing. And you better believe, Zeb, Sandy,
Sandy, my mom.
Sandy Miller will be on our prayer request board at the Faith Christian Wrestling Room. So you tell her to keep fighting. No doubt, she's much tougher than you are, and
There's
she'll
no
run
question
circles.
about that.
Oh, so cool. She
No
runs circles
question.
around you.
Yeah, my mom's awesome, dude. I love her. So, you know what? My mom has three of her sons are state champs. Two grandsons are state champs. She's got a couple
Woo!
All-American grandsons. So yeah, she's tougher than a $2 steak. She's tougher than a boiled owl. That old girl's tough, dude. I appreciate you saying that you guys will say a prayer for my mom. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Awesome stuff, man. Hey, stick around. You got anything else for me? We good?
Let's get to bed.
All right. Hey, stick around. Coach Clymer, thanks for the time. Good luck in the PIAA double A individual state tournament starting next weekend. And we will see you at the Giant. I won't see you. I'll be watching you at the Giant Center March 6th, 7th, 8th.
We appreciate it, Zap. Thanks for all you're doing.